Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox Online channel, host Sega Forever. Just a quick little video for you guys today. Hate to say I told you so, um, but it's unfortunate, man. Guys like myself, guys like he bought the world most powerful gamer, E-Rock X, the Don King of Xbox, Unlimited, Productions, Sega Man, the usual suspects that I shout out on my videos, man. The people that I consider that are in the know, and why I'm in their circle of gaming influence, right, is because they've been saying, like myself, for the longest time, that Sony is not your friend, right? That Sony, when Sony talks about business or what they consider proper business, it's everything to do with them and what benefits them. And their fans, they don't care, right? Obviously, the gamers, they don't care. The industry, they don't care. It's about their bottom line, and it's about them making their money and being the lead in the industry to make their money. These guys just don't. Sony just doesn't care about gaming. Now, as you guys know, man, I'm Xbox all in, but my gamer tag on Xbox is Sega Forever. So I'm a huge Sega fan. And guys like myself and he bought the world's most powerful gamer. Shout out to my brother, right? We experienced this firsthand back in the 90s and early 2000s, man. Sony has always been this way. We've known it. And it's kind of funny to me because all of this stuff that Sony does is coming to light now, right? And this is why you see a lot of the fans, they're not really saying anything, or when they're arguing with you on Twitter, right? It's all emotional based because they can't deal with all the information that's coming out there, all the facts that are coming out there. So they don't argue the point, they argue the emotion, right? And this is why they're constantly getting destroyed online, right? Because basically, you know, they're supporting a company. Like a lot of these guys hate Microsoft because of their size, their money, because of the console they have, all of this kind of stuff. And when they hate on them, for the very same things that their company and their console of choice, which they hardly play, is doing, right? So that's where the hypocrisy comes in. And these guys, I say this all the time. Now, Sony guys are brand gamers. They're not gamers. They're brand gamers. They're like people that like to buy a brand, like a Coach, man. They might not even like the style or the quality of the bag. They just like having that emblem on there, right? That's all they care about. Especially these ponies, man. They're the worst. Right. But for the longest time, man, guys in my circle of influence, when it comes to gaming, we've been talking about this. Sorry about the background noise, guys. It's early in the morning and everybody's. It's just going to be loud. So I do apologize for the audio. But what a lot of these, what we've been saying all this time, man, to Microsoft is they need to wake up. Sony is not your friend. And for the longest time, Microsoft, and I absolutely believe this, man, because of the way Microsoft their current leadership, especially on the Xbox side, with Phil Spencer, love him to death, man. But this guy, he believes in a gaming future where they're all moving forward together, and that everybody's in this fight together, man, because they're looking at a bigger picture. Microsoft is looking at the Tencents and the Embracer groups I talked about, Embracer group on my channel and on social media. This is what they're looking at. And Microsoft is looking at that bigger picture. So when they look at all the outside influencers, like with Google and their failed Stadia, right, they understand that the gaming landscape is changing, and that a lot of these guys, these bigger corporations coming in, and Microsoft is a big corporation, but they have pedigree in gaming because of the Xbox. If you have not watched the documentary on Xbox for the 20-year anniversary, definitely go watch it, man. These guys have put in the blood, sweat, tears, and time. These guys have made mistakes, but they've also rebounded. They've done a lot of stuff in the gaming industry that they never get credit for. If it wasn't for Microsoft, you wouldn't have a lot of the stuff you have right now in gaming. And Nintendo and PlayStation, or Nintendo and Sony have been happy to take advantage of that as well, man. Microsoft has actually pushed the envelope and grown the industry, right? And to the point where other people will be able to come in and contribute and grow the industry, from mobiles, all of that, PC, all of that stuff, man. Microsoft has a hand, whether a big hand, little hand, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, which is sad that you do, that you don't want to, because they have done that much. I mean, you can hate Microsoft all you want, or hate Xbox all you want, but you got to give them they do, right? If you're being honest, right? And that's the problem. A lot of people are not being honest. And those two people, and two of those people in that equation is Nintendo and Sony. I don't jump on Nintendo too much because they're kind of in their own little quarter, doing their own little thing, right? But let's not get it twisted, man. Nintendo will take advantage of everything that Microsoft will do, right? And they just keep a little bit quiet on it. They keep their head low and they focus on their stuff. But they're not opposed to have Microsoft do the heavy lifting and they benefit from it. Right? And then on Sony side, I mean, they're on the Sony side, they're much more in front of it. Right? They have no problem with showing who they are. Right? And they have such a rabid fan base, man, that these guys make excuses for them all the time, like you're seeing happening on social media right now, and why these guys are getting destroyed because of the hypocrisy is at an all-time high. Right? And Microsoft right now, hopefully this is a wake-up call to them. That's why I'm doing this video, man. This is a wake-up call to Microsoft. And hopefully they realize that Sony's not their friend. And I think they are beginning to realize it. Hopefully they actually take action on it, man. Because the stuff that Sony's doing right now, again, guys like myself, he bought the world's most powerful gamer, E-Rock X, man. We old school. Say the man. Mr. 100. We old school, man. We've been dealing with Sony from back in the day. You know, this channel is Xbox All In, but my gamer tag on Xbox is Sega Forever because I'm a huge Sega fan. I'm a Sega fanboy. I come from that era, and I remember the Dreamcast, and I remember the stuff that Sony did. Right? And there's people right now trying to reimagine that history. You can't lie to me, man. You can't, you can't try and pull the wool over my eyes. You can't because I lived it. I was there. Right? I saw it happen in real time. Where a lot of you guys are googling it, you guys are just so infatuated with PlayStation. You're trying to rewrite the history of gaming. It ain't gonna happen. Not as long as I'm on YouTube. Right? And that's why one of the reasons my channel exists, man, because I want to put that facts out there. I want to put the truth out there. This is why I don't care if I have a lot of followers, because most people won't follow me because of the videos that I do, right? Some console war crap, that people don't want to acknowledge until times like these when they actually put out there in the forefront, right, where people can't deny it anymore. And then they change. They're having. It's so bad that that talked about console war and how console war gaming is stupid. And I'm not talking about the normies and the plebes, right, that are coming to just want, it's safe for them to talk about console war and how stupid it is and how fanboys are toxic for the community. But where were these guys in 2013? You couldn't find it, right? This is why I don't listen to them, right? Because it's easy to do it now, right? And the reason it's easy now is because Xbox is even more competitive than they were in 2013. They've done a lot of things that are actually have changed that tide. They put in the work, man, the blood, sweat, and tears, the money. Right, so that's what's changed, right? So it's safe for these guys to come in and start talking about, oh, we need to get along and stop being toxic and fanboys are horrible. But none of these dudes is around 2013 when you had to deal with the Sony fanboys, right? Because the Sony fanboys are absolutely crazy, right? And the Sony Defense Force would just freaking come full force on them. Microsoft doesn't have that type of fan base. They have a fan base, but they don't have that type of fan base. But that's one thing that's Microsoft's weakness. But with Game Pass and all the stuff that Microsoft is doing, and doing it correctly, I mean, under Phil Spencer, with the exception of this, man. Hopefully, this will be a wake-up call again to Microsoft. Sony is not your friend. Nintendo's not your friend. Right? You guys occupy a space, right? You are the biggest fish in the pond. It's time for you to start acting like this. I say this all the time on my channel, right? And on social media, man. It's time to go with the nuclear option, dude. You need to lay this stuff to waste. And I'm not saying killing them and knocking them out of this. Well, if it's Sony, I don't care. But Sony has done a lot of stuff on their own to knock themselves out of business. Same thing with Stadia. How Google's trying to blame Microsoft. It was nothing to do with Microsoft. It was everything to do with Google. You didn't take it seriously. You didn't take the fans seriously. You didn't take the culture seriously. The way you came in with that weak sauce, man. You guys deserve to lose. And this is why competition is good. Everybody's all competition is good for the consumer. Yeah, it's good for the consumer, but it's good for the industry as well. Right? And this is something that Microsoft needs to get hold of. Just come in, nuclear option, lay everything to waste. If this was a battlefield, just turn the entire battlefield into a parking lot. And then you come in and do what you want to do. Because Microsoft does have a bigger picture. Right? And they are big-hearted. I mean, to a fault, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. They just come in, lay the waste, turn it into a parking lot, then come in and build over it. Right? Then you get the direction, man, because you can't do it right now with the way things are. And as you can see, right, with everything that Sony's doing, again, with these regulatory agencies, these backdoor meetings, man, I'm pretty sure these guys have some kind of level of influence. So it's amazing to me that not more people are calling out the CMA for their very biased opinion on this Activision Blizzard King deal. I mean, it's absolutely horrid. They're a regulatory agency that's supposed to keep the consumers in mind. And if with some of the stuff they've been posting, man, it's all pro Sony. It's as if Sony has a representative working over there for them. One of the best memes that I've seen is Sony added a new addition to the developer lineup. or to their team, team of studios, and that's CMA, which is very appropriate because the CMA right now is just playing straight up favoritism. I know with the way they try and write it with their little legalese, right, and have their all the media out there writing it, all that, well, this makes sense. No, it doesn't, dude. If you can't read through in between the lines, you can't look past all that Maybelline, right? That the CMA is trying to put on all their points of interest, dude. At its best, they're shilling for Sony. At their worst, they're absolutely incompetent. They have no idea what's going on in the gaming industry, which shows with the statements that they're making. They're absolutely 100% gatekeeping. You know, their future broadcasting, which they shouldn't be doing. That's even worse. That's the most thing I find the most egregious. They're sitting there picking winners and losers by the decisions that they're making. That they know what's going to happen in the gaming industry. Do you think a lot of people saw the popularity of Minecraft coming? No. Did you see a lot of people thinking that Fortnite was going to be as big as it is? Dude, I remember I played Fortnite. It's funny to me, man, because Fortnite started in the ID Xbox program, right? And when I played it, dude, it was basically a sim survivor game with zombies, right? You would kill the zombies just to get, and I would play it because you go into the map, you play a stage, and then what you do is you're collecting materials. Then you go back to your base and then you build it up. That's what I liked about the game. And then when multiplayer copied PUBG, right? And then it blew up. Do you think anybody saw that coming? No, right? Games like Overwatch, right? There's the industry. That's how gaming is, man. And for these guys, what they want to do is they want to take gaming back about 30 years, you know. And they won't. And you can't do that, man. Technology is constantly changing, man. It's like trying to catch a wave. Dude, sometimes you're gonna be in the back end, sometimes you're in the front, right? And then you miss that. Sometimes you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss that. You're gonna miss that crash, man. You're not gonna be in the right spot, and that's just the way it is, dude. But that's the great thing about it, man, because that's what keeps the industry constantly innovating, right? You're gonna have your stadias, yeah, but then you're also gonna have your game passes. And what this regulatory agency is doing, and I say this all the time on my channel, and I know people push back on me about this, like some kind of red wing, I don't care. Right? This is why big government is bad. This is why regulatory agencies are bad. Right? It's just the same thing when you see on Capitol Hill, whether it's on the right side or the left side, calling all these tech people up and to question them about their practices of protecting free speech. And these people have absolutely no idea anything about technology. And I put myself in it. You know, I've been having to force myself to learn how to do certain things because I've gotten lazy with it. You know, I rely too much on my kids, especially my son. My son can figure things out in a heartbeat, and I find myself relying on him too much. I'm like, dude, I'm the parent. I need to keep up with this stuff. Well, this is what these regulatory agencies should be doing, and I'm telling you right now, they're not. Just look at what they're writing. Dude. You don't even have to have like everybody's like, well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not this. Dude, you don't need a degree, right? You've been playing games as long as I have, right? I'm not saying that you got to wear that as a badge of honor and that you can, you know, hold it over people. But what I'm saying that if you have that experience, that far exceeds what these guys are doing, and it shows in their writing. It's absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. It just blows my mind how absolutely innate these people are. Right? It's just totally clueless. So it's to the point when I read it, I'm like, I pray that they're just favoring Sony. That Sony's either paying them off, or they got somebody's brother, sister's cousin working over there at the agency. That Jim Ryan knows that's hooking them up, right? You know, to get free. They'll get a free PlayStation 5, a free remastered of The Last of Us, right? You know, I'm hoping it's something because if it's stupidity, that's even worse to me. Incompetence. Both are bad, but that would be even worse. Right? And it shows. It's good to see. Like, credit to Microsoft. It's good to see. Maybe it takes something like this, but they have a little bit of fire in their belly. Right? Understandably so. They are the biggest. They're the biggest corporation. Right? They're the biggest fish in this pond. Right? And I know that they realize that. They're very self-aware, but you know, it's good to see them finally kind of respond. And look, they're not going hardcore like everybody says. They're just doing something it seems that way because they're doing something that's outside the ordinary. Right? Which shows that they really want this deal to go through. And it also shows that they know that this deal will go through. I hear everybody talking about this, dude. I'm like, yeah, good luck. Listen to the regulatory agency that just doesn't matter. And you know, there's all kind of things that could happen from this. People making all kind of comments about it, which I agree. Most I don't agree. I've got a couple people out there. They're astute. They understand what's going on. They can read between the lines, right? They have the gift of discernment. Right? So you know, there's a ton of other ways that this could go through, and a lot of them doesn't look good for the consumers, the bottom line, which is bad. Which is the whole point of the stupid regulatory agency. Anyway, 15 minutes. Sorry, I ran so long, guys. Just wanted to do this really quickly. I'll get more videos out to you guys. Gonna do a podcast with my boys. Hopefully, it's hard because where I live and everybody's busy. You know, my time is the reason why I'm not on some of these podcasts is because the way my time works out. You know, I'm far away from everybody else. You know, it doesn't work out a lot of times, and I do feel bad because sometimes they'll make it go. They're willing to make exceptions for me, but then I feel bad because it puts a strain on them, right? You know, because it's affecting more of them, and it's just myself. So I don't think that's fair. But anyway, Xbox Online channel, man. Let me know what you guys think down below. Say good forever here. We out.